Hello, and I'm a pottery instructor for the leisure classes at Tucson Parks and Recreation. I teach classes at both the Randolph Pottery Studio and the Pottery Studio at Udall. If you're interested in classes, you can go to EasyReg.com. So today, I'm going to show you how to make a whistle. I love making whistles because they're a lot of fun and they're easy to do and take a small amount of clay. So I have some examples here of whistles that I've made in the past. And they can have different tones depending on the size and the shape of them. You can get as creative and innovative, make a little hot dog, or a little mouse. So they're very easy to make. The hard part is cutting the holes, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. So the important thing about a whistle is you want to have a curved piece that comes around like this, as well as a flat piece. So all of these whistles, where you blow in the air, there's a curve and a flat. So the way this works, so here's an example of a whistle. What happens is the air will come in, this bevel cut here will split the air, it'll go up this way, the rest of the air will circulate in the whistle, and it will create an oscillation that creates an oscillation, and it'll create vibrations and make the sound that will come out the hole. So, what we want to do to take a whistle, we can take a wad of clay, about the size of your fist or a little bit smaller. We're going to break it into 3 pieces. We're going to take a little piece that's going to be for the mouth part. We're going to take off a little bit more, and that's going to be for making decorations, for sticking on different features that we want on the whistle. And then the other is we're going to split it in 2, and we're going to make 2 pinch pots. And how you make a pinch pot is you start with a ball of clay, and you just, with your thumbs, press down in as you're turning the clay around, gently pinch it up to make like a little bowl. So we're going to start with 2 pinch pots. I have one that I prepared earlier. So I'm going to take it, and what we're going to do is we're going to slip and score these 2 pots together. And when you slip and score, you add a little bit of moisture to your clay with some water, and you can use something to kind of rough up the edges of the clay. And if you think about this, you're kind of making Velcro. So you want these 2 surfaces to be able to Velcro together when you're slipping and scoring. That's the purpose of this. So I've got this scored. The water is making some slip. I'm going to join these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to very gently go around and seal that seam of those 2 pieces joining together. You can also start with a flat piece of clay and a pinch pot and join those together in the same way. But we're just going to continue with this one for right now. But that's another option. So I'm just making sure that these 2 pieces of clay are joined together well. And once I have that seam joined, then I have a bubble of air, and it's almost like a balloon. So as I move this around, that air is trapped inside, and I can change the shape of this into any shape that I want. So now I've got and I'm just patting this, and all that's doing is compressing that clay and making that join together really well. So like I said, I don't know if you remember, I said I wanted a curve and we wanted a flat bed. So now that I have this little ball, I can just gently tap it to make a flat part. Okay? So the next thing that we want to do is we want to take a little bit of clay to make this mouthpiece that we're going to blow into. So all I want to do for that is I'm just going to make a little rectangle of clay. So just a little cube, kind of like that. Again, I'm going to slip and score, and I'm going to slip it here where I've got a flat and a curve. Remember, think of the slipping and scoring as Velcro. The way I like to do it is put it flat on there and then just kind of scooch that square up on there and then join it really well. Okay, so we want to join the mouthpiece onto the body, and we want to join that on really well. So I'm just going to use a popsicle stick to help join that on. So when I do this, I like to do this and then I'll just let it set up for a few minutes. Okay? So, just like on every good cooking show, I have some that I've prepared in advance. So these have set up a little bit, and the problem with trying to cut the mouthpiece on this is the clay is really soft and it's going to deform and it's going to be messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these before. So how we're going to cut the mouthpiece, I want to show you with a whistle and with my diagram again. So we're going to take a popsicle stick and we're going to stick it in there, and then we're going to take another popsicle stick and cut the bevel here. So how we want this, we want this edge to align right there. You see how those are going to align right there with the curve. So I'm going to want to cut my hole about right there. And then we want this bevel, and this is the flat part of our whistle. We want that bevel so that edge is going to be a little bit down. Okay. So I'm going to take this. I have altered my popsicle sticks a little bit. So I've sanded this to a point here, and I've sanded this to a bevel, and it's going to help me do that. So I'm going to be taking this popsicle stick and inserting it in here, and I want it to go above that. I don't want to come into here. That was bad. Okay, so I'm going to stick it in like that. I'm going to put another popsicle stick in there as a placeholder while I do the other bit. I'm going to look on here. I want to find out where this edge is, and that's where I'm going to start cutting that hole. So I know how thick my pinch pot was, and I'm going to just go in there until I touch that other popsicle stick. Then I'm going to go back from there a little bit more. I'm going to use my pin tool. And I'm going to cut out a little rectangle of clay. So now I'm going to look and make sure that I've cut my hole so that these edges are aligned. okay? And I can see that. I've got a little bit of debris in there, but we're going to take that out in a minute. So that's the first part that I want. So then I'm going to stick my popsicle stick back in, clean out some of that clay that's in there so that I have a nice edge. Stick it all the way through. And then I'm going to take my other popsicle stick and I'm going to press it down in there to form that bevel edge. Okay? So I have the little bevel and I have my mouthpiece. So any clay that's debris that's in there is going to prevent my whistle from blowing. So I have to kind of clean that out a little bit. And once I feel it's pretty clean, I made it look easy, but it's not. It takes a lot of practice, and if you get it wrong, just keep working with it. So I put together a list of some of the things that can cause your whistle not to sound good. So if you cut your hole too close into the mouthpiece that those edges aren't aligned, that's going to cause a problem, and the same thing if it's too far out. If you have clay or debris in this part or on the bottom part of that bevel, it's going to cause problems. If this angle where you blow in doesn't go down and align with the edge of that bevel, that's going to cause problems as well. I've got this little PDF, and it will be available for you to download as a handy guide for troubleshooting. So that's basically what you have. So once you have a whistle that blows, then you can start taking your clay and decorating it to make whatever kind of creature you would like. Okay, so now you know how to make a basic whistle or an ocarina. Actually, if you want to make it an ocarina, all you have to do is put a little hole in it, and that will make it into a multi-tone whistle. If you make a hole and your whistle stops blowing, you can just cover that hole up again, and it will go back. So now you know how to make a whistle or an ocarina, and thank you for joining me today. I'm Mary Swallow with Tucson Parks and Rec Leisure Classes. I'm a pottery instructor at Randolph and Udall, and we'd love to have you come and join us. Check out our website at EasyReg to register for one of our classes with Tucson Parks and Rec. Thank you.